So this is what something you recognize very easily. Yeah, somebody told that next token prediction. So this is what an LLM does. So by training, the LLM is nothing but it has a various like type of data set that has been collected, pumped into that. It goes through a training for multiple months probably. So whatever language model you're using, Gemini, ChatGPT, or whatever you're using, it's probably gone through multiple stage of trainings over a month or maybe a couple of months, and that is delivered to you in that URL. So a lot of us may not be able to think of what exactly is going behind the box. Yeah, it seems very easy, and it's a lot of engineering effort that is going into that. And this simple thing, is really simple. But if you use only this thing today, you might get information. Yeah. Do we like information? Not really, I think. Nobody likes information. What do you want to do about information? You need actions, right? You need AI to do your job, right? So that you can chill in Goa and somewhere, right? Not really. How many of you want AI to do your job? None of you, yeah? Okay. So people are feared. If AI will do my job, what will I do? Yeah. So it's not really that. So it will add up a lot of like intelligence to your day-to-day life. You will release these mundane tasks what you don't like to do. Typically, like if something broke or bug in production, the AI will be the first one to encounter, and you will be the super agent. Yeah. So if you leverage this thing carefully and correctly, your life will become better for sure. I can at least assure you that. But in order to do that, you need to understand this. So we learned about AI agents in general and the ADK. So we'll talk about tools first. So this is something a tool looking like today we built this weather tool. Okay. So this is like a basic function, a Python function or any kind of function or language API, anything. Okay. This can be a database. This can be anything like grabbing an information thing. So knowledge graph, anything that you can think of can be developed and deployed on some machine in the internet. You can connect using these tools. So now, what is the usefulness of this tool? First, we need to understand this. This is not really related to directly my topic, but I just want to give you a brief idea. So tools are something that is adding value to your LLM. So do a classic case here. So how many of you used the earlier stages of LLM 2 years back something? Yeah. If you ask the recent information to the LLM, like tell me about the last cricket match happened in this evening or morning. Did it give the information? Yeah. What it used to say? I'm only trained till XYZ, and then this some example thing. And if you ask something proprietary information about your company, or if you are having this agent or AI agents or LLMs in your own office thing, yeah. If you ask something, they'll not be able to answer because they are not hooked up to the data. They are not hooked up to your live thing. So for making these things live, we use tools. We introduce tools maybe a year or two back or something. And what was the famous tool initially that was introduced? Anyone? Very, very famous tool that took the LLM to another space. Sorry? Function calling is the technology. What is the tool? Search. Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of you have that thing. Web search. Web search. What is this? Yeah, what is this? Sorry? I want one person to answer. Come on, be quick. We don't have a lot of time, right? So I'll define it. Okay, I don't trust you now. So it's like simply when you give a hook to the LLM that okay, if you don't know something, right? What you need to do? What do you do? If I need to know something, if I don't know that, I do Google search, right? So what does LLM do? Do a Google search. So we can take a Google API, we'll connect this to the LLM and probably say that okay, you have the Google thing now. Now if you need to know something, Google it. Don't ask me. Yeah? Khud ka kaam khud karo. So it's like this. So you are like saying, okay, if you want to learn something new, you connect to a Google search. If you want to learn something about your data, connect to your database. If you want to learn something about something else, You just connect thing. So it is like connected Internet of Things, right? So what is this useful and like? Do you think this is useful? Tools thing? Do you think this is helpful for the LLM? So where are we lagging? Anybody knows this? Sorry? Yeah, exactly. That's the right thing. If you have, let's say, 100 of them, yeah, now I have 100 of them. What can be the problem? So every tool I have to write a code. Every tool I have to write some like YAML file, OpenAPI spec, something of that kind. I have to write the parameters, some input, output parameters, and things like that. So it can be challenging for a developer, right? Tomorrow, let's say Google search tool, okay? They release new few parameters. They release a new API version. I'm writing a tool. What will my life look like as a developer? I have to come here, fix it. Yeah. Without that, it will break, and your LLM agent will be probably surviving on some of these broken tools. And so the life of an engineer who is writing all of this is a tough job. Yeah. To make it easy, Anthropic came up with something that is called as MCP. That's a protocol. Now we have a protocol that we can use and agree to adhere to rules. Do you know what is a protocol? Everyone here? Sorry? Set of rules. Okay. Yeah. So do you know any like protocols that we use for our programming and like some of these HTTPS, FTP, REST API framework? So REST is also a protocol, right? HTTP, HTTPS, whatever it is. So we have a bunch of protocols. So this is something that is already done for multiple purposes. So we basically, are eliminating the task of maintaining, scaling, and things like that. We are just trying to make it little more easy. So this is what it is in a nutshell. Like what exactly a MCP can be. So maybe you can think of this as this now. So this is the MCP server. Please make sure that you listen to this next few minutes very carefully. So this is what it is, MCP server. Now instead of directly calling my tools, I have a layer in between. Okay, a governance thing that will now manage, and this will be again used by our providers, the service providers. So whoso MCP server you are using, right? They will be allowing you to discover their tools. Okay. So let's say Google search has a tool. So Google can do a query, it can do a bunch of things. Now this Notion thing. Notion is something that you may be using on a day-to-day basis or something else. Okay. Let's say I have a short demo. If I have that time, I'll show you. What I've done is I have registered to Airbnb server. Okay. Similar to a website. Okay. Website has some APIs in the background, right? Endpoints. How many of you know that? API endpoints, right? CRUD, yeah, everybody knows. So this is something very similar. We are creating a bunch of tools, and then we are using that tools in order to now we are connecting this thing to the LLM. Okay. So instead of just doing the normal like information thing, LLM can now do actions. And not only these actions are limited to whatever you know. Tomorrow, like few like 50 people from us create 50 different MCP servers. I can connect it on a go. I can grab all the things, and now our LLMs, the AI agents, can do things for us on our behalf. That's why I said booking a cab, booking a dinner, anything that you think of will be super easy. Okay, so that's what we are diving deep into. So you get resources, schemas, prompts, tools, everything like that. So that is what we are going to talk about. Yeah, I see some hand up. Then for question or something, we'll have time for questions. Okay. Yeah. So it's useful to understand what exactly we are packing some things into a server, and this server is then registered. Okay, and this is maintained by some service provider, and this service provider is the authority who will give us the access, and probably we'll just use similar things. So for talking this thing between a server and an MCP client, who is the client here? LLM is not the client. LLM is the tool. Again, your client will be something else. It will be a website. Your agent, the one that it is having, LLM is just one party in it. Okay. So this is the application. The MCP client is your application. Okay. See, this is your application, and inside your application, you're using LLMs. Clear? So this is something very important for us, and this is what the model context protocol brings us. It gives us simplifications of rules which we can propagate, and we can talk to this particular server. And this server is a sophisticated thing that we created in this particular space to have our endpoints registered to give our tools and layer. So we also give something like schemas, prompt. Okay, so if you need to ask me something, okay, you need to ask me in a way. Yeah, especially girls, they like it, right? You need to ask in a certain way. Only then they'll respond correctly. And I'm not sure, but I'm just trying to think of, right? So it's probably that you need to say that, give me prompts in a certain way, tools, and all of this you're hooking up to your AI agent. And automatically after you connect to this MCP thing, yeah, so your MCP thing will know, your AI agent will know how to call this particular thing. Okay, it will know all the rules and everything, how to ask the proper thing and how to get a proper information. You don't have to set up anything very fancy. Sounds good? Yep. I think that's what the MCPs bring us. Unified protocols. They bring us some kind of service providers. So now in this world, now Chrome extensions, right? Something like this. So you will get a box of these MCPs and you will get one of the other MCP server to be signed in into your AI agent. That can be how easy it can be. Now again, you will have to write some simplified code, but it will be not as complicated as we used to write this earlier. Are we good, everyone? Yeah? Are we good? Okay, great. So let's go ahead and look for what kind of servers you have now. Now you know that how can you power your AI agents, right? So you can use the MCP servers by a bunch of providers. So I can link down a few GitHub repos, and this is still in a very nascent stage. It is growing very rapidly. In the past few weeks, we have seen a lot of interesting MCP servers popped up. You can even build your own. Tomorrow, if you think like I have access to some API, I have to talk to, and I have to give this API access to the LLM and do a bunch of things. You can write a server. It's under 50 lines of code. You can write a server. You can get up and running. And again, you can start from there, and you can bunch of tools. You can add it, so you can get all the latest updates from the providers now. Instead of you doing the updates, the provider will do the update, and we'll do a pull thing. Okay. You want to see a quick demo here, or we are good here? Yeah, quick demo. Questions? I will take it questions, maybe in next like 10 minutes or so. Okay, so it's now easy to have multiple servers. Okay, with this it becomes very easy. So what things you can do now? Any ideas? I would love to hear from you guys. Any ideas? Anyone would like to build and take up a challenge? Something you just want to announce it in this classroom. Yeah, and we'll get your LinkedIn or GitHub. Okay, sent by Nihal, and then we'll be looking up to you. Book a doctor's appointment. Okay, something very good. Will you be taking fees for that? No? Okay. So yeah, he's having something very simple and interesting. Your name? Yogesh. Okay. Anybody else wants to just have a wish? Yeah, please. Okay.
So now I'm thinking of building an agentic framework to save my manager's job.
Okay, that's rude, I guess. See, I think whatever it be, managers are really good people at heart. Yeah. So they have to show that, thing to us that, okay, I just want to be with you in a certain way so that you do your job correctly. Right? Okay, no worries. I'll not go deeper on that. So this is something that really cool I found out. Like a person has created an MCP server using Blender. Blender is something like a 3D creation. I think I hear, oh yeah, something this, yeah. You see that in your reels coming up, okay? What is this going on? So basically with your natural language, like questions and particular things, you are able to see live like 3D demos. And this, I talked to a 3D developer. They told me this is really difficult. Okay, you need to do a lot of things. Again, this will not give you the perfect result at once. But now we know something called as vibe coding, right? How many of you are aware it? Well, yeah. Have you done vibe coding? Yeah. I've done it a couple of times. It just amazes me. on a weekend project. I spent around a couple of weekends doing that, and that projects don't go somewhere. But yeah, that's another thing. So, but this is really cool, right? If you can bring something like this in a few minutes of time using MCP server that you can register with no cost. Yeah. So this is done with the Cloud desktop app, but again, we can have our ADK agent. Today we learned about it, right? You can now have ADK agent along with MCP server. So ADK agents can now listen to your MCP servers. Okay, so without taking further time, I'll just take up the demo. Yeah, thanks a lot. Just be with me for a few minutes more. Okay, I think. Okay, so yeah, just give me a second. My Cloud Shell machine is restarting. But yeah, until it happens, you got what is Cloud Shell, right? It's a free machine given by Google to do and write stuff. So basically, you will be writing this particular thing in a probably a local machine, right? You can now write things in your local machine. You can write it within the Cloud Shell editor or whatever editor you write remotely. So you just need to write a bunch of lines, and with the ADK setup, which we did, right? You can launch a agent, and agent can do certain things, basically read your prompts, understand things. But what interesting it can do is understand what exactly MCPs use. So it can discover tools in the runtime. Okay. And now we will just, until this is happening, we'll just take a moment on, another agents like multi agents. Okay. Just like you work in teams, agents also like to work in a team. Yeah. So think of it like a puzzle that you're solving right now, or maybe some financial decision you want to take, right? We just don't trust ourselves immediately, or we just talk to a couple of people. Similarly, you can now build roles for these agents, right? And now this agent can be talking to the other agents, like financial planning agent. Then one agent will be doing auditing. Okay, is that the plan working fine or not? Even for a simple task like travel thing, you can see that people are just overpowering things by writing multiple agents. But in reality, this can change the way we work. Okay, because you don't have to use your brain all the time for some trivial task. This will be done automatically. So this is something that you can look at, and for this Google has launched another protocol, that is A2A. So for multi agents environment, you will definitely like to use that. I'm not sure why this is not working, but yeah, I'll just do a restart thing. So I'm with you on the same boat. I think everybody just faced that, right? Just hold on and I'll try to show you. Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably talk that in the question thing. Okay. That's an interesting question that I also had. I figured out the answer. So I'll give it to you. Okay. So this is something the code is saying right now. And the code is pretty simple. You have a few lines of code for, this is the async IO, a framework in Python. Now we are using framework and we are using ADK here. Okay. So we are just importing a couple of things from Google ADK, and we are importing something called as MCP toolset. This gives us the access similar to what a tool would be, right? Now you're getting the access to the MCP servers. Okay. And now I will even show it to you how many servers we have already live. Okay. If we got a moment, we'll just check out together. Yeah. But if not, then you can go home and check that. So this is a simple thing where we are getting an agent up and running. So this is like a simple thing, Gemini 2.0 Flash, and we are running this code. So we are using some like Python things here in memory service for our, whatever the things are happening in the agent, it should remain for that particular session. And you saw that, right? In the agent like UI, you got something called as a session ID. So everything is getting saved for that session. So like web sessions, you have similar sessions for the agents. Okay, so that multiple users can talk to this particular agent in the same time, and within this some 50-60 lines of code, we can get this thing. So the important thing was like how to get to a MCP, and this is the important thing. Okay, identify the MCP and then hook up to an agent. With it, with this, what do you think what I can do now? So this is the Airbnb MCP server. So we are just giving a question. Okay, this query. What are the available Airbnb listings on Bangalore region for this date to this date? Yeah.
Unauthorized access directly to the server.
Oh, this is authorized. Airbnb gave me the MCP server. They launched it.
But my account on Airbnb doesn't matter in this case.
Like you can use Airbnb.com and then you can go and search on that, right? I'm not right now creating anything. Like I cannot do bookings and all, right? So for that, I'll have to provide my information. For those who don't understood the question, like he was asking, can I do the booking without giving my user ID? That how can it be possible? But yeah, you can just do a like a lookup. But still, for a lookup, you need to go on the website and do things, right? So what we can do is quickly run this thing. So we'll just do. Yeah, I think we'll just probably check on this one. So I have the main file here and we'll just run this one. Okay, hopefully it works. And it will check the tools. It will, now this is happening all on the go. Okay, now hopefully this works. Okay, I don't know. So let's see. Okay, so you see that it got a bunch of details, the HTML pages, and it gave us all the details, and it created a live website URL for that. This is how it is. Okay, and in the next action, you can pretty much go ahead and book your things based on your priorities. You can talk to this LLM and say, okay, I need under like $2,000. I need to have 2 nights. Okay, I might have a private room and whatever needs you have. You just mention that. It will do a second call. Okay, then you again say, okay, this is fine. Book me this thing, and it will actually ask you to do the payments. You can use payments like PayPal, Google Pay, and everything else which have the MCPs now, and this will be the ecosystem. Yep. It's not a tool. We are using MCP server from Airbnb. Okay. So in short, now you understood, right? MCP is something like this. Okay. MCP is like this thing. We have a couple of options here. So we are doing this universal connector. So anybody develops something, you can now get used to. So how I can connect display devices, everything else using this hub, right? The MCP server is something like this, and you can connect multiple MCP servers now, which can have. So in your particular agent, your agent is called as MCP host, and under that you can create clients. You can create as many clients as you want. Okay, and then you can connect to as many servers as you want, and your agents immediately now got access. You saw that I never told it how to go and search the how to go and search the Airbnb. Did you see that in my code? I never taught the LLM to do that. But how it is learning? It is learning on the go. How many watched the Matrix movie? Matrix trilogy? Yeah? That girl learns to ride a bike. Like download the bike thing. Yeah? So now you can download anything and run it on the go.
If you're serious about a career in AI, follow Deep Tech Stars on your favorite social media platforms.